Did you know some people feel like crying the day before they return to work after the holidays? They didn't cry when they left home, but just wanted to cry right before heading back to work. It's not because of work stress, but because you return home and feel like a kid again during the holidays. But when you get back to work, no one treats you like a kid anymore, except for your family. Once you return to work mode, you also start seeing yourself as an adult. The holidays are like hitting a pause button where everyone goes back to being a kid and reconnects with family you haven't seen in a while. And you'll always be their little one in front of those older relatives. They'll say things like, "I've watched you grow up. Oh, I'm getting all teary-eyed now." This year, the Chinese New Year holiday lasted from January 28th to February 4th, a total of 8 days. This means most factories typically reopen on the 5th. However, starting on the 1st, there was a rush of migrant workers returning early, leading to traffic jams on highways and national roads. When people return to work after the holiday, they have to adjust to a different pace of life. For example, a man at the Changsha High-Speed Rail Station suddenly had a heart attack. When he woke up, his first words were truly heart-wrenching. Today, let's talk about this topic. But before we do, we would like to invite you to subscribe. Your support is our greatest motivation and allows us to bring you more valuable content. Now, moving on. Mr. Chin, a pseudonym, a worker from Shenzhen, told overseas media that there are two main reasons migrant workers return early. First, the economy has been tough these past couple of years, and competition for jobs is intense. Last year, the unemployment rate in Guangzhou was as high as 37%, making it even harder for migrant workers to find work. Everyone wants to stay home longer, but with the job market being so competitive, if they go back late, they might lose their job. The second reason is difficulty getting tickets. From the 8th to the 20th day of the first month of the Chinese New Year, train tickets are the hardest to get. While business and first-class tickets are easier to find, they cost around $250 for long-distance travel, which most workers can't afford. So, migrant workers either leave early or wait until the rush dies down.
又回到广州50平的小家了。
I'm back in my little 50 square meter place in Guangzhou, and just like that, the holiday is over. Some of my luggage hasn't even been fully unpacked yet. The past days spent at my family's place felt like a dream. I started missing my family even before I left. From the excitement of getting home to the boredom after being there, and then the sadness of leaving again. As soon as I got back, it was straight to work. In this environment, having a job is good, but the time spent with family throughout the year is just too little. The subway in Guangzhou is packed. Everyone's back. Even though it feels a bit down, you have to shake it off and get ready for the new year. I opened my suitcase and found it full of New Year goodies that my family packed for me. They might not be exotic delicacies, but it's their endless love and care that they always give. It took me half an hour just to get the eggs out, which is probably a special way we do it in Hunan. The number of people turning their heads as I walked by was crazy. It was almost too cool. I packed all the cured vegetables into storage bags and put them in the fridge to freeze. Work starts soon, and here in Guangdong, there's a tradition that married people give red envelopes to unmarried co-workers for good luck in the new year. The amount doesn't need to be big, so I'll give $3 to each one and $7 for those with kids. It's all about the gesture. Has everyone else started working yet? Why can't we adults also start work after the 15th of the Lunar New Year? The kids still have a few days before school starts. If it weren't for paying the mortgage and bills, I honestly wouldn't want to go back to that job for even one day. It feels like earning a bit more money isn't as important as spending more time with my kids, playing with them and helping them learn, don't you think? What if we just stay home this year and don't go out? If we stay home, what would we do? Anything at home is better than going out to work. Every year we work hard but still stay poor. In the end, we don't spend enough time with the kids or take care of the elderly. It's just so stressful. Yeah, but what can we do at home? That's for you to figure out. I just think that every year we work hard but still struggle. Instead of that, we might as well stay home. Look at our neighbor. He makes $60 a day working on the construction site. What about us? The experienced guys on the construction site do make $60 a day, and some even make $100. But as an apprentice, $30 a day is pretty good. It's not that I don't want to do it, it's just that with our situation, $30 a day really isn't enough. Well, $30 a day is $900 a month. When you think about it, it's not much different from working elsewhere. But there's not always work available. Those who stay home and work construction usually only get odd jobs. Unless you travel with a construction team, you might only have work for about 100 days a year. Let me show you. It's only the 6th day of the new year, but look at how many people are at the entrance of this factory. The factory makes electrical appliances and operates on a day shift. The staff are waiting outside for everyone to arrive. Once everyone is there, they'll take them into the workshop. If you're okay with it, you can stay and start working. If not, you can leave and look for another job. This factory is actually pretty good. It has day shifts and even provides social security. If you're planning to find a job after the new year during the return to work rush, you better hurry. Otherwise, wages will go down, it'll be harder to find work, and factories will start being more selective. Right now, they're not being too picky. On February 4th, a middle-aged man at Changsha South Station suddenly collapsed. After 20 minutes of emergency treatment, he was out of danger. When he woke up, his first words were, "I need to catch the high-speed train to go to work. It's really heartbreaking." According to a report by Shaoxiang Morning Post, around 11:30 a.m. on the 4th, a 40-year-old man suddenly collapsed while waiting to board platform 16 of Changsha South Station. When doctors arrived, the man had suffered a cardiac arrest. He had no pulse, weak breathing, dilated pupils, and was frothing at the mouth. After 20 minutes of emergency treatment, including defibrillation, CPR, and artificial respiration, the man began to breathe again. When he regained consciousness, his first words were, "I need to catch the high-speed train to go to work." He initially refused to go to the hospital, but following the doctor's advice, he was eventually taken to the hospital by ambulance. After the video was shared online, many netizens commented, calling it a true reflection of the struggles of hard-working people. Some added, "The pressure is too much, mortgages, car loans, and caring for both elderly parents and young children." Some questioned, "The point of working is to live, but if you're risking your health, what's the point?" Others commented, "Times are tough now, everything feels like a competition, and it's driving people crazy. We need to slow down, relax, and enjoy life a bit." However, others argued, if you stop to enjoy the scenery, you'll end up crying later. Those who stop will fall behind. They added, with the tough economy and hard to find jobs, the tears of migrant workers are real. February 4th was the last day of China's New Year holiday and also the last day for free highway tolls. Nationwide, traffic jams occurred on major highways, with some drivers being forced to turn off their engines and spend the night in their cars. Many netizens shared their experience of severe traffic on the G50 Huyu Highway, where a trip of fewer than 10 kilometers took nearly 9 hours, forcing them to turn off their engines and stay overnight. One netizen, Mr. Gu, shared that he had left Shaoyang, Hunan on the evening of the 3rd to drive to Nanjing. However, he was stuck in traffic all night on the Huyu Highway, moving only about 1 kilometer. It was a tough, slow crawl the entire night. Why were cars stuck on the highway? Some netizens believe that the traffic authorities should take most of the responsibility. Were there any traffic police on duty? Was there an emergency plan in place for accidents? Was there any coordination between departments? All the traffic police seem to care about is issuing fines for violations, and they don't pay attention to traffic jams. The highway toll-free period for Chinese New Year lasts from New Year's Eve until the 7th day of the Lunar New Year, totaling 8 days. From midnight on the 8th day, February 5th, tolls are charged again. One driver was just 1 minute late and had to pay a $200 toll. Hurry up, the toll's about to start. Open the barrier for him quickly. In the video, a young man was just 1 second away from getting off the highway, repeatedly shouting, "Free, free," but he ended up watching the toll booth barrier drop right in front of him. Free, free, free. $8. Just 1 second too late. Yang Zhangquen, a Chinese expat living in Germany, told overseas media that highway tolls in China have increased. Many people who work in the city and go back to their rural hometowns for the New Year try to travel before the 8th day of the New Year. This helps them avoid paying tolls when returning to work on the 10th. With the economy in a tough spot, these drivers, often migrant workers, are very careful about saving money on tolls. He pointed out that highways in China are very different from those in Germany. In Germany, 99% of the highways are free and there are no speed limits, but in China, over 90% of the highways charge tolls. In all my years in China, I've never used a highway that didn't charge a toll. In his hometown in northeast China, the highways were built with bank loans. Experts say that after 15 years, when the construction costs are paid off, highways should be free. However, after 25 years, tolls are still being charged. With tolls being such a big source of income, can the Communist Party really just stop charging? Rights activist Ms. Guo Song said that in recent years, the government has made some major holidays toll-free to boost the economy. As a result, many people choose to travel on the highway during these holidays to avoid tolls, but this causes massive traffic jams. Drivers can be stuck for 8 or 9 hours on just 10 to 20 kilometers. It's becoming less practical to use the highways during busy times. Ms. Guo also shared her experience traveling in Europe. In developed countries, there are no borders between countries, and no one stops you in the middle of the road to charge tolls. During my trip, I didn't see any police or toll booths. Many people still choose highways even though they have tolls, because local governments have set up cameras on other roads like national and provincial roads. These roads don't have tolls, but drivers can get caught by the cameras for speeding or other violations, and end up paying fines of several dozen dollars. So even with the tolls, highways seem like a better choice to avoid fines.
高速上摆锥桶。
On the highway, traffic cones were set up to guide cars into a service area where police stopped a driver and fined him for speeding. Can you believe this happened in 2024? A popular blogger with millions of followers recently experienced this. He was driving normally on the highway when he was directed into the service area by the cones. Police then told him he was speeding and fined him. Normally, this would seem fine. However, after paying the fine, the blogger couldn't find any record of the violation in the 12123 app, which tracks traffic offenses. So he started to question everything. Whether or not he was speeding, he wondered if it was even legal for police to set up cones like that on the highway. High-speed driving can be dangerous, and what if drivers don't have time to slow down and end up crashing? Who would be responsible for that? The blogger decided to take action and made several videos accusing the authorities. After researching, he found that his practice of using cones to stop cars had been quite common in the past. With China's economy slowing down and the local government struggling financially, there have been more and more of random fines and charges to raise money. On January 24th, China's Ministry of Finance announced that the country's total public budget income for 2024 was 3 trillion, a 1.3% increase from last year. However, tax revenue dropped by 3.4% to 2.4 trillion, while non-tax revenue went up by 25.4%, reaching 600 billion. Some netizens pointed out that the decline in tax revenue and the increase in non-tax income shows that with no better options, the government is relying more on fines as a way to raise money. This has become a common way of taking money from the people. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.